Hello again. My name is Emmanuel Kamali, and I do not believe that African Americans should get reparations. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to the judges and other staff that allow this debate tournament to happen, as well as the judges and other staff that enable us to compete. I would like to thank my competitor. I believe that this is very beneficial for the learning development of every man, woman, and child. First, I'd like to restate my stance on why reparations should not be paid to African Americans. A Pew Research Center surveyed the percentage of people who end up participating in food stamp programs, and it turned out that African Americans are about twice as likely as whites to have used these during their lifetime. Also, there are no black slaves living today. Slavery ended more than 106 years ago at the cost of several 100,000 lives lost in the Civil War. It is unfair to ask American taxpayers, many of whom came from families after slavery ended. Also, the problems faced by African Americans today are not the legacy of slavery or even racism. Many blacks have succeeded very well in American society. The problem of poor African Americans are caused by social ills within their inner city, such as breakdown of families, high crime rates, and dependence on welfare. Also, there's no clear group responsible for the crime of slavery. The claim for reparations is premised on the false assumption that only whites have benefited from slavery. If slave labor created wealth for Americans, then obviously it created wealth for black Americans as well, including descendants of slaves. Now I'd like to make some claims to what my competitor said. My opponent has argued that the unemployment rate has nothing to do with my argument. I'd like to counter and say that it does. I stated that majority of the $21 trillion of the last 50 years that was put into affirmative action programs such as welfare, Social Security, food stamps, Medicaid, and many others still failed to compensate for the current state of our economic disparity. Even with all these programs that have been done, nothing has been done to reduce the poverty rate. I did not say that African Americans comprise of all the unemployment rate. An article on theatlantic.com states that last month that the unemployment rate for white Americans was 5.4%. For black Americans, it was more than twice that, at 11.5%. The percentage rate of unemployment are significantly made up of African Americans. My case is to point out that a lot of African Americans are already receiving affirmative actions. These actions could be thought of as reparations for African Americans. Along with that, twice as many African Americans are receiving food stamps. That is essentially saying that twice as African Americans can get their weekly food for free rather than white Americans. Why should African Americans who have not been in slavery or received nothing but help from a government that has realized the wrongdoings of their ancestors receive reparations? Reparations is not only money going directly to African Americans. There are programs that allow people or individuals to get help from government. That can be in terms of healthcare, food stamps, better schooling, housing, etc. And all that is already happening. I would also like to state to the judges that my opponent has gone 30 seconds over the time limit. Thank you, and have a nice day.